Guess who's back? Leslie's back. Oh. I am. I'm here. I'm TikToking from my bed because I'm tired. And it's been a long day. But this is important. So let's talk about it. Something that continued to cross my thought process was the whole event at Dick's Pond. Okay? Now, we have heard Mica's dad say she was a seasoned pew-pew owner. She had her permit. Okay? So, I did a little consulting with some friends, and we discussed that event. Okay? And whether this matters, I don't know. But I discussed it and I thought I'd share. Mica going to Dick's Pond that day, I think, was very purposeful. I don't think she ended up there for some reason. I think she went there on purpose that day. Why do I think that? Simply because of the fact that she walked in, she filled out paperwork, she was handed a pew-pew, she didn't touch it, she took it, and she left. In my opinion, there's only two explanations for a seasoned pew-pew owner to purchase a weapon as she did. One, and in the case of a pawn shop, one, because she had actually already been there and chosen this pew-pew. Whether she didn't have the money, but I believe that's a possibility. The second, and this is a possibility that was kind of swimming around at one point, is that it was actually her pew-pew that ended up there. But there is no way that a seasoned pew-pew owner would purchase a weapon without holding it, checking it, etc. So that's point one. Let me also add in this because I feel like it ties into this conversation. If she had already gone to Dick's Pond, let's say earlier in the week, we can presume that if she was being watched, that it was already known she had been there. And I would venture to guess fairly easily that someone could then make a phone call and say, hey, wanted to ask about that situation, and the person could have said, yes, she's coming back on Saturday to pick it up. Just adding that in there as far as thought process. Now, in that same scenario, let's talk about the plausibility of what happened at the state park. Okay? 1, we can assume that pew-pew was loaded in the car. Okay? That's assuming it was loaded in the car. So let's say she gets to where she was, okay? And there are 3 rounds found, according to the police report. A live round and 2 spent rounds. Why does that not make sense? How would you end up with a live round on the ground? It would presumably had to have been the first of the three, okay? If you are unfamiliar, it has to be the first of the three. And there's really only one reason why you would have a live round on the ground, and that would be because you were checking to see if it was loaded, essentially. Okay? Which, if you just loaded it in the car, you would know. In other words, generally speaking, why somebody would check that is because they were in fact going to put it away, right? And you want to make sure that it's empty. So you would be checking to see if it were empty for safety. Okay, so doesn't make any sense. 2, we're talking about a seasoned Pew Pew user and owner. So then you want me to believe, after checking to see if there was one in it, you then took a practice shot and then committed it. What I'm trying to explain is that just doesn't make any sense. Then you add in the sheer fact of the distance from your casings to your weapon to your body. It just doesn't make any sense. Hopefully that helps to better understand that. I know that not everybody understands how pew-pews work and all of that process. So hopefully that gives you some perspective as to why that whole thing is crazy. The other question I have is, they say the rounds matched the type of round in the car. But did we check to see? And we didn't. But why wasn't ballistics done to confirm that they actually came out of that? So just some things that my brain is thinking about and processing. Let me know what you think. Justice for Mica.